Hello and welcome to another Math Cats episode where we are talking about grade 10 math, an introduction to some statistical concepts. Today we're going to talk about box and whisker plots. But before we do that, before we look at a specific question, we're using IXL to generate some questions for us to help our discussion. Explore that further if you want to, or use any other app, platform, textbook that you might have available. But you do want to practice these more than what we're doing on the video. Let's first just give a little, I'm going to do the dark screen, that's nicer. Let's give a little overview of what we're doing here. So let's suppose we are measuring the heights of some people. We're measuring their heights and we get a pool of data points. There's someone there. Maybe there's someone that's 6'1". There's someone that's 5'4", and so on. Many other data points in my collection of people, right? So we're measuring the heights. Just as an example that's maybe relatable. Let's draw a number line here. Of course, this extends indefinitely to either side, but the heights of people will have, there will be a lowest one here somewhere. Let's suppose, I don't know, 5'2" is the lowest one. And there's a highest one in my group as well. It depends on the group that I'm looking at. Maybe 6'4" is the highest. And of course, I have all the other data points spread around here. Maybe some are more in the center. Some are duplicates. There could be a couple of people at 6'1", for example, but they're all spread between these. So I definitely have this minimum data point and this maximum. And now I can split this up into, let's say, 25%. So the first 25%, if I'm arranging them from smallest to largest, I'm breaking them up into 4 chunks. The first group of a quarter of the whole set, the first 25%, might go all the way to here. So I'm going to put another line there. I'm going to make a little box here. So this will cover the first or the lowest 25%. And where that box starts from my minimum, we will call it, has various names. We can call it the lower quartile. I'm just going to write this below here, quartile, or the first quartile. And then I'm going to go all the way halfway, maybe sits over here, the halfway point. They're not evenly spaced. And we're going to extend our little box and put a line there where the next 25% sit. That is called, let's go over here like that. That is called the second quartile. But the more common name is the median. And let's suppose our next 25% is a little bit further. We're going to extend our box all the way here for our next 25% of people, because we don't know how they're distributed across this range. That is what our diagram is trying to indicate. And this will be called our upper or third quartile, because I'm breaking it up into 4 sections of 25%. 25% of my data set is contained in these sections. So this is our box and whisker plot, giving me an indication of how the data points are spread through the minimum to the maximum. All right, so that's the background here. So let us go back to our screen, get rid of all that, and now look at some questions. Sue is writing a report on car dealerships for her economics class, just some background. So she researched the weekly sales at the dealership. So my data points are weekly car sale numbers in this case. The box and whisker plot shows the results and how it's spread around. A pretty nice even spread here. So they're indicating here that, well, this 12 to 16 is a 4 unit gap. So this is halfway. So this will be 14, and so this will be 10, and this will be 18. Now, we can ask many questions here. A specific question that they are asking: what percent of the car dealerships sell 14 or fewer cars? Well, that's where my median sits, which is the first 50%, 25 and 25. So half of the car sale numbers that she's collected fall from 10 to 15. So that is a 50%, because that is exactly in the middle. That's halfway. That's that little line in the box, our median. Let's submit that. Brilliant. Let's do another one just to get an idea. They like to sort of paint the picture here, give you the setting of where the data points come from. But for these simple questions, it really doesn't matter. It's more just flavor. We're looking at essay length. Do I care which university it happened at and how many people there were? No, I don't really care, but we can check this anyway. Professor at Middletown University assigned an essay with a specific word count requirement. He's counting the words in his students' essays to make sure that they all meet the requirement. But of course, there is variation in the actual word count of the essay. So his collection is looking at all the students, collecting that data point, which is the number of words in each essay. So he has a collection, and they're spread around here. Some person, maybe a couple, some people definitely went as low as 1,000 words. Then not too many happened here. That's why that's so long. They were definitely clustered more on the high side. But I do get a range, and 25% of the people ranged from 1,000 to, what would this be? 1,300. This goes up in hundreds. And 1,500 there, all the way to 1,700, because they're all evenly spaced gaps here. So now that I have that, I'm looking at the question. What is the lower quartile? That will be the data point value where the box starts, where the 25% ends. So we'll write here 1,300. That is our lower quartile, our first quartile, covering, let's write it there, the lower 25% of the people, ranged from 1,000 to 1,300. Let's submit that. That is correct, yes. Let's maybe do this one real quick. We have time. Why not? Two friends, Vivian and Ed, tracked how long their families spent making dinner each night. These box and whisker plots show the results, and we can compare them. So this is time spent making dinner over a time frame. So over here, we have what is called an outlier. That sometimes happens. That's an extreme value. That could be a typo when they put in their result for that day. So it doesn't really seem to fit with all the other numbers that they got. We call it an outlier. And sometimes in statistical analysis, it could be beneficial to exclude these outliers because they often happen due to input errors or some fluke of a night where it took forever to make dinner because the dog kept knocking over dishes or something, right? It's not really normal situation. So it makes sense to sometimes exclude these in my comparison, in my analysis, because they skew the results significantly. So excluding those outliers, we have our box and whisker plots over here. And the question is, which person's family has a higher outlier? We can answer a lot of other questions here. A higher outlier, well, something extreme happened in Vivian's family one night. Do we include that or not? Well, it depends. It depends on our analysis and what we want to do. There's no wrong or right. It depends on the goals. And that is what makes statistics a little bit more complicated in general. So definitely Vivian's family has a high outlier. Vivian's family has a high outlier. We can answer a lot of other questions here. The minimum time spent making dinner is exactly the same. The maximum time is exactly the same. We can see the 25% of the time, the Vivian's family ranges from 25 to 30, whereas 25% of the time, Ed's family ranges from 25 to 35. So we can make, and the other numbers are all kind of the same. We can make some conclusions based on that Vivian's family more often has these lower dinner times, whereas Ed's family, the first 25% is spread a little higher. The others are pretty much the same. So let's go ahead and submit that. Great job. Let's read the following one, and you can let me know in the comments what you think the answer is. And then we will stop there. Every semester, Lowell University records the amount spent by students on textbooks and includes this information in their university catalog. The box and whisker plot shows the results. Again, just flavor for what the data points represent. So, using what we have learned, you can answer in the comments what is the outlier. You can also answer other questions you can make up. What is the cost for the top 25%? Maybe let's answer that. Let's write that down. The outlier is a little obvious. It's right there. That could be a typo. Someone put in a textbook cost of 0 when it should have been something else. Or maybe there was some ridiculous sale and textbooks were given out for free. Who knows? But you can argue it shouldn't really be used as a fair indication of what students can expect. We can answer another or ask another question. Let's say the top 25% of the costs. When does that start? So we want to know well, I'm not going to tell you. You have to figure out, what do we want to know? Which quartile do we want to know? How do we read the graph, the plot, the box and whisker plot? Let me know in the comments what you think and any other questions you may have. We'll end with a little commercial and then we are done for today. Until next time.
Welcome to MathCats, where we aim to better understand mathematics. Join us weekly for discussions on elementary, high school, through to university math. You can request the next topic by leaving a comment on our YouTube channel or by emailing us at mathcats314@gmail.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.